Alright, it is time for the seventh song from this Valo album by Mustan Kuun Lapset. The title of the track is Tropaeum. I don't know how to pronounce it, doesn't really matter. But anyway, it basically means trophy, but I guess as it is from ancient Greek, you probably could have found that out yourself, or maybe you did know that better than I did. But anyway, so it is not Finnish title, Finnish language. So overall, I think this whole song has some sort of social, almost like political criticism, not towards any particular political movement, but overall how politics do go, how we are these days doing it, and so he clearly isn't picking sides here, choosing sides, just criticizing it overall. But this first verse is so out of place. I mean, it kind of sounds like it is. I mean, when I first time look at these lyrics and before seeing anything else in verse 1, I thought like that, okay, this is going to be some sort of conclusion, because the first song was about spring coming and overcoming the winter, and new life is coming out, and that's what a lot of this album kind of deals with, usually with more personal level, but anyway. And so I thought that this is going to be a conclusion song, as these are the last lyrics. Well, I do know there is a hidden song in the last one, but I don't know those lyrics, how to know what they're saying. But anyway, this first verse doesn't really relate to anything that comes after that. But anyway, the first verse is, it comes again, path maker of blessed summer. So summer is a good thing here. It is beloved one, or something like that. I think blessed is probably the poetically or artistically the best choice. So it is blessed as it comes again. Now the breath of spring awakens a numb land. Now this kohmeinen here, well, it kind of means numb. This land or soil, more likely. This numb soil doesn't feel anything, but it's not because of something else. It is because it has been in a cold environment under the snow and ice and so on. So that's what this kohmeinen means, being numb because you feel cold. Okay, or at least partly numb, if it's like about my fingers after I've been in a cold, whatever. So the breath of spring awakens this. But here is something tricky. First of all, huhta. Well, it means cleared woodland. That is what the dictionary is giving me. But basically, it means, well, it is the same word as kaski, and kaski, or more like the kasken poltto, was a thing that a lot of people did do some 100 years ago or more, where we did burn down a area of woodlands, forest, and it was sort of fertile environment, fertile soil to make new meadows. So this new place that was originally forest, and then it was burned down, and now it's been wait a second, what it is. It's been cultivated. Now this new land is being cultivated, and some new plants has already come up. That is huhta. So yeah. So it isn't exactly clear woodland, but that's the only translation I ever found. So yeah, that's just explaining what it means. So yeah, breath of spring awakens via clear woodland, the numb soil. Okay, now the other things that actually kind of relates to each other. First chorus, or first part of the chorus, humans' essential, shows its mistakes. In here, kind of like, it's being you with your essential properties. Very philosophical concept here. That is showing its mistakes, or maybe it is essential for human beings to have these sort of mistakes. Every time I manage to notice someone uses fear of everything as a weapon, the sense is dead here. These three kind of sounds like separate sentences that have their own meaning, but they kind of relate to each other. The mistake that humans essentially do have is that we do fear everything, and people can use that as a weapon, and therefore the sense is dead here. I probably it is also dead there wherever you are. I think this is quite universal, as it is about all human beings. But this just means that he doesn't always manage to know these things. He doesn't always care. But every time he does manage to notice, he notices this thing. And this second part of the first verse kind of relates mostly to the title of the track. With fury they, whoever they are, do gather the jewels of victory. And the last ones are the ones that pay the fee. Wobbling on the edge, they treasure their remainings. The gap is about to win. Okay, so these first three sentences are quite simple. You can definitely understand what they are trying to say. Now, kuilu can actually mean a lot of things. Gap, I think it is more metaphorical thing here. So gap is kind of like it's good translation here. It could be something more physical also as well. Not in this context, but anyway, kuilu can mean a physical gap, or more like something like canyon, but often a bit more smaller canyon. Anyway, that's what it means. Now, what does it mean that this gap is about to win this whole thing? Don't exactly know, but I guess it has something to do with that. There is a usually gap between my world and your world, as we do have different world viewings, and or maybe we do have a gap between knowledge on certain things, and this gap is the thing in politics that kind of seems to dominate the whole thing and probably eventually win. So it's kind of like winner is not going to be right side, winner is not going to be the left side. It's going to be the gap between them that is going to overcome everything and is about to win. Now niskan päällä actually literally means on the neck or above the neck. That is idiomatic here, so it is just about the win. Probably it refers to wrestling, I guess. Anyway, second verse, it comes again, breaks the gray with colors. This actually kind of sounds like that spring, summer kind of thing. Spring starts to flourish like I believe in karma. Now this basically means it is something that evens things, like karma does. Okay, so it kind of relates to the first part. Then the chorus again. To the other map of the road we go. So there is a road. There is at least 2 maps of it, and now we're going to the other one. Maybe that is a political thing, where there is this one road that has 2 maps. Maybe the right and left or something like that. They're now choosing the other one. Maybe. Our path gets along far away. So it kind of seems like that there is, that in the map there is paths or trails, and you like to choose the one that is quite far away from the main point of the map, which probably is the road here. Now standing for our ground or something like that, we burn some bridges. This is literally burning some bridges. It doesn't exactly tell what bridges. Okay. So they are burning some bridges for their home to be far away from you, to be far away from the other ones. Once again, probably something political. Man's disgust being beautiful, with what soul joins the corresponding with what. So it is the man's disgust that is the thing that which soul joins the corresponding. If we leave you alone, don't bother us. That is quite straightforward. And the last ones to translate: creatures being called men, religions being clothed as truth. Okay, take that. Now I'm just thinking that how to actually relate these spring references here to the whole song. May actually be like something that, because the whole album is about life and death, and how spring sort of like brings life to you and makes you to believe things and so on. So it kind of sounds like that maybe even in politics it is that way, that that the springtime feels something empowering, where you can actually fight against these and those things, even if there is things going wrong in the society. Politics are doing things stupidly or something else, something that you don't like. Maybe even then the spring can sort of empower you. Maybe that is what he's trying to say. It could actually explain the whole album. Now obviously even then, this bringing up these things in our society, it sounds quite, or a little misplaced, a little odd, but who cares? Okay, that is actually that about this album. I have to say that there is some very beautiful lyricism in here, a lot of poet kind of lyricism as well, beautiful poetry at times, with most of the time, maybe some odd choices, but I guess that is part of the thing. I've been writing some sort of poetry or lyricism, and I have to say that I often do use some odd choices as well. So it's not too bad, or at least I can't blame him for using that as well. The instrumentation, I've listened to this album now twice, and you know, isn't too bad. It's actually pretty good, and I was quite impressed the beauty of those melodies, how they can make really really beautiful melodies and beautiful atmosphere. You know, a lot of times I still noticed that I quite didn't enjoy it as much as I probably could, or at least as much as I do with some other artists. But also many times I did enjoy. The vocal style is something that I do quite respect in a way. I mean, yes, I do like harsh vocals, but I'm more like a growling kind of guy, not so much about that black metal screaming that he has. That's not so much my thing, but it's not bad by any means. It is, and it kind of fits here. Although these melodies are probably a bit too beautiful, to contrast between those almost like ugly or disgusting vocals and beautiful guitar melodies. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work that well. So I wouldn't say this is my favorite album, but it's definitely good, and I will for sure check out their other albums they have made. I found out that this is actually quite old band and has released a lot of music in the past, and now sort of regrouped very recently. Well, very recently. Let's just say recently. Anyway, it was really interesting. So that's that. Hope you liked it, and if you did, then like and subscribe and ask me to do something else. I mean, some other lyrics, obviously, or well, maybe something else entirely. I'm open to suggestions. Anyway, hopefully I will see you later. Goodbye.